I turned my back and lost everything.
17 years later, Amanda still insists she's innocent. She thinks her son was turned against her, which begs the question, is Amanda Lewis serving a life sentence for a crime she didn't commit? In 2005, she left her troubled marriage in Alabama and moved in with her new boyfriend in Estill, Florida, with her daughter Adriana and son Andrew. The family settled down quite happily. Amanda and Alan bought an above-ground pool in the summer of 2007. The kids loved it. According to Amanda, the kids were quietly watching cartoons, while Amanda napped after working the night shift. She promised to take them school shopping after she finished her chores. The kids begged her to go swimming, but Amanda told them no. Disaster hit on August 8, 2007 in Estill, Florida, when 7-year-old Adriana Hotto drowned in her backyard swimming pool. It was 18 feet across and 4 feet deep, with the pool ladder locked in the shed.
911.
I need an ambulance.
What's wrong, ma'am?
My daughter fell in the pool and she's not breathing.
Where at, ma'am?
In Esto.
Soon after her death, Amanda's son AJ told police that his mother, Adriana, where did AJ come up with such a horrible story? And how did he get to the police station anyways? The police had called Amanda's mother Brenda to let her know the situation. She left work early and rushed to the house, but got there just as the helicopter was leaving. Brenda Turner opens up about Amanda's case.
Got the call at work and left work and went down there. It was just a nightmare from then on.
Brenda locked her keys in the car so she let her husband take AJ home, while she waited for the sheriff to unlock her door. When she got home, she said Chuck had some awful news.
Chuck meets me at the door and tells me that the sheriff wants to talk to AJ because AJ had seen what had happened.
How did Brenda feel when Chuck told her that Amanda had drowned Adriana?
All I could do was just look at him, and I asked him, why can't we go see Adriana first? Well, that's, Amanda's responsible for this, so they need to see AJ.
Brenda was very upset and just wanted to go see Adriana at the hospital.
I didn't have any other.
She very reluctantly decided to bring AJ in for an interview.
Sheriff Lee called me on the phone and told me that the grandparents had contacted him to tell him that AJ had made some statements that we needed to hear.
Detective Rayleigh was the first investigator at the scene. While he was there earlier, AJ said nothing about how Adriana had died, and it was ruled an accidental drowning. Fire Chief Charles Corcoran was the first to respond.
It looked like an accident with the mother kneeling and sobbing and crying. She exhibited all these signs of shock. Adriana was still warm. She was wet. I knelt down and I began CPR. I actually thought I had a heartbeat. Thought there was a chance.
When did she look at the mother right now? Where was the mother?
The mother was kneeling with her back to the pool and the baby's head was towards the road, and she was cradling the baby from foot to head position.
6 trips over.
Pretty much over, crying and consoling the baby and in that state of grief that you would expect for that occurrence.
Okay.
I'm going to estimate 4 to 5 minutes of CPR. I picked her up again and I drained her.
Okay. Now, when you picked her up, her head would stay on the ground like this?
Yes, I
Okay, she
wanted
never-
gravity to work for me.
Did her forehead ever come around in contact with the ground?
I am going to say yes in the process.
Was there any, when she was like this, was there any blows or anything that would cause any trauma to her head?
Yes, I did give her back blows and thought there would even be food stuck in there. And I did give her at least 4 back blows in the sequence of trying to clear it in.
Okay.
But Rayleigh needed more information. He went to Bay Medical Center to talk to the ER staff who tried to save Adriana. The doctor who worked on her told him that Amanda's reaction to her daughter's death seemed strange.
Dr. Fox said that when she went out to tell her that she just really didn't have a response, just seemed kind of cold about it.
It wasn't only Amanda's demeanor that bothered Dr. Fox. Adriana had some pink marks on her face that later turned into bruises.
Saw 4 bruises across the head, and that really stuck out. And see the bruises, then you start to think, well, maybe there is something to his statement. Maybe he did see that.
To this child when you got there, sir?
I saw it on the right-hand side right here. It was a little light blue and little pink here, but you hardly can see it, you know, it was really light.
Did you notice any injuries on her at that time, sir?
Not at that time, but
to the child. Did you notice any injuries to the child?
No, sir. No bruises or anything.
Is it fair to say that you weren't up near the face or head area of the child?
I can see it good.
Okay.
In the initial assessment, I noticed a bruise on the mid-forehead at approximately the hairline.
she did gain some color back. That's when my father and I both noticed a pretty large bruise on her head, on her forehead, about center way, sort of a semicircle shape.
I noticed one above the eye here, sort of like a semicircle dark bruising, I'm going to call it.
2 that I passed through, and from right here there was a bruise just left of center on her forehead that had a line running through it.
There was a bruise on the child's forehead. It was a little bit left to center. It was probably the size of a quarter. There was also a vertical small mark up and down the bruise of that injury.
The only injury I seen was right here across her forehead. She had approximately a half an inch, about 2 inch long, bruising top going to her forehead.
Describe again what type of injuries you noticed.
The contusions to the left side of the head.
So just a
That's the only
bruising area?
At that time.
The only thing I remember was some bruising to the head area. Can you demonstrate to us where those bruises would have been by pointing to yours, sir, if you know? To be honest with you, I remember it was somewhere around the forehead area, but I wouldn't be able to point whether it was center or to the right. I can't remember that part of it.
I did notice some bruising around her upper right chest, which is because I was placed at her right side, and I did see some bruising across her forehead, linear type bruising on her forehead.
So these were already there when she first came into the emergency room?
These 3, I remember specifically.
I mainly noticed the one on her left cheek as soon as she came in, and the one on her head as I glanced up at the time, because she hadn't been there 5 or 10 minutes, is when I noticed the bruise on her head.
I didn't see anything on the back. I didn't see anything, but there were bruising. It was actually red marks when she first came on her forehead, and there was some reddish to light purple marks on her right shoulder. The bruising here, here, and here wasn't as purplish initially as it was later.
The next step to Detective Rayleigh's investigation was to interview AJ.
Just an accident. What's he want to tell her?
Today's date is August 8, 2007. Time is 5:09.
Okay, you woke up in the living room this morning?
Rayleigh said they could interview AJ without his mother or the child protective team because the information he had to share was so crucial.
Typically, if the child is a victim, we let a child protection team interview them. If they're a witness, though, we'll interview them.
Could your sister swim?
She was upside down in the pool.
She was upside down when you found her? When she landed or when you found her?
When I found her.
When you found her?
My sister, she read me and sprayed something that everything smelled good. And
AJ's story started out rambling and difficult to follow.
she didn't do this. She done the stuff that she didn't supposed to, so my mom got mad at her. So she threw her in the pool. And then she told her to go somewhere, and she said no, because Mom was going to dunk her again. And then Mom had to go get in the car to go get Adrienne. And then Adrienne was trying to escape from Mama, and then Mama pulled her back in the car. And then once they got back home, Mama threw her back in the pool. And then she started drowning again.
When he described what happened at the swimming pool, no one could misunderstand the gist of the child's story.
Adriana started drowning.
And then when she had to take a shower, my mom told me to go get her. And then when I was standing in the wagon, she was dead.
So you stood up in the wagon. You said that Adriana had left, and your mama had to go get her. Where did she go?
And there was no like chronology, and he was saying that things happened yesterday and he went to school. He was picked up by a bus, just things that seemed like they were completely impossible to have happened, given it was like just before school started.
I had to go to the bus stop and wait till somebody picked her up.
And all this was today? Where's the bus stop at?
It's close to where our house is.
Is that where do y'all have to ride the bus from there, or?
We had to go to Papa's Queen.
Has your mom ever done anything like that before? She has? Has she ever thrown you in the pool? Has she thrown Adriana in the pool?
Or give some yes answers. The interviewer had I think, pretty strong belief about what they thought happened before they even went into the interview.
AJ, who lives in your house?
The trailer is Gus Allen's house.
Okay, who lives in Alan's house with you?
Mama, Alan, and Michael, and Amber. And some of the people come spend the night.
Who's Amber?
Alan's
daughter. Alan Michael's sister.
She live there also?
She visits. Okay. Alan Michael's sister.
Where do you sleep at, AJ?
In Amber's old bedroom. And my sister.
Is that where you slept last night?
First, Detective Rayleigh was skeptical.
I thought, well, that's, it kind of shocked me. Why is this kid saying this? Why would you say that? That's not a little fib. That's kind of out there.
But when I be good, I get to sleep in the living room.
Was you good yesterday?
Yes, sir.
So did you sleep in the living room? Do you remember when you woke up this morning? Where was you sleeping at when you woke up?
Now, when my mama's blue bed, that she played in the living room
A blue bed?
with a mattress in.
Dr. Thomas Lyon is an expert in child witnesses. Could AJ's story have been coerced by someone else? He's taken a fresh look at AJ's interviews.
Look at the interviews the day of the crime. You've got a police interview that's pretty bad. I mean, the police don't really know how to talk to this boy. Where were they at?
At the pool.
Was there someone else who knew exactly how to talk to him?
I guess he's the step-grandfather. Initially, he had some short window of time during which he potentially could have influenced AJ. And so maybe he might have suggested something to AJ. And that's a pressure that was maintained through the police interview because the grandfather was in the room with AJ when he spoke to the police.
Did anybody go swimming today?
when Mama gets done, Mom told us when Mama gets done getting out the bug, I could get in the pool, but now I can't because the bugs ain't in. It's still in. And Adrian said when Adrian had to scoop out the bugs out of the pool, she said Adrian said she didn't want to scoop out the bugs by herself. And then Mama told her to go do it. And maybe she stopped. And then she messed with stuff when I was asleep. And I didn't hear the spray because I smelled something when I woke up.
Margo, you said you'd been getting on the bus.
I didn't get on the bus.
You don't ride the bus?
I only ride the car from school and to school.
Who rides the bus?
Nobody except my big brother, my uncle.
Does your mama work? Where does she work at?
At the nursing home.
When does she work?
Only on Monday and Tuesday.
What'd you do when you woke up this morning?
I was watching cartoons.
You remember which cartoon it was?
Yeah, Boomerang.
It was what?
Boomerang.
Oh, that's a new one on me. What's the name of it again?
Boomerang.
Boomerang. Boomerang.
Boomerang.
You watched Boomerang? Did Adriana watch it with you?
He only watched it in the morning.
This morning? So she got up out of her bed and came in the living room? Did she go?
She done it at night.
What did y'all have for breakfast?
We didn't have it.
Did y'all have any cereal? What do you normally have? What do you have sometimes?
Cereal.
Do you have it in milk? So, did you have any lunch? What did you have for lunch?
Hot dogs, please. Sometimes I have to eat hot dogs at night.
What'd you have today for lunch?
Nothing.
Let me handle it. So you didn't have no lunch either? What did Adriana have?
Nothing.
She didn't have no breakfast either?
Yes.
She didn't have no lunch either? Well, what about Michael? Is that the older Alan Michael? What did he have?
Nothing. He was asleep.
He slept today? Well, what did your sister and you do all day?
Just watching cartoons.
What other kind of cartoons did you watch?
That's boring. Sometimes we watch Naga.
Do you remember what cartoon you was watching when I was there?
Yes, sir.
What one?
The Pink Panther.
And what else?
Tom and Jerry.
What about Hong Kong Phooey? You saw that this evening when I was there? Tell me what, where is the bed at now that you were sleeping on?
In the living room.
It's there now? Where'd it go? Huh?
I'm gonna put it back in the bag.
Back in the bed?
Yeah.
Or the bag?
Big bag.
Okay. So, today it was, who all was there at the house?
That's me and Mom and Adrian and Al Michael.
Did you and Adriana go outside today?
Not when Mama was asleep.
What about when she got up?
Yes, sir.
In the research field, we talk about snowball bias effects, where information from one source then starts to snowball. So once that information was attained from the step grandfather, he says, here's what the child told me. And then now we see the snowball growing. Now the interviewers have in mind, oh, he is actually saying something, that he saw something. So then we bring in a medical examiner. If they provide also information that suggests drowning, that is not independent evidence.
At, you know what time?
At 9.
When you got up, where was Mama? When y'all got up when you was watching Boomerang, where was your Mama at?
In the bedroom sleeping.
Where was Alan Michael?
He was in his bedroom sleeping.
You remember the last time you went to school? When was that?
Last Papa Springs.
So, why'd you do it?
Play with my tractors and scaring off the bugs with my toy gun.
Where was the bugs at?
Bugs
Birds. Where was that? Where was the birds at?
in the sky mine. Some was in the tree.
Oh, yeah?
You know, I was trying to gain camouflage so nobody wouldn't see me. But Mama saw me. A shotgun.
What?
It wasn't real. It was toy.
Does it shoot anything out? Don't shoot water or nothing? Did y'all ride bicycles today?
I only have a bicycle that goes fast, but Adriana's tires are flat.
Where's her bicycle?
Behind the shed.
Where's your bicycle at?
Sometimes I keep it by the thing that outside beside my trailer.
Where's your wagon at?
It was at the pool, but when a tractor was coming and cutting down the trees, that's why I left it in the four-wheeler trail. That's why I left my wagon.
Who got the wagon from the four-wheeler trail?
Mama.
Did Mama go outside while y'all were out today?
The child was saying things that clearly came from a while ago, or he would say something that just made no sense, that didn't go along with earlier things that he had said, like saying Mom was outside by the pool, but just having said that she wasn't.
Just moving my wagon, and then when she got done moving my wagon, she told Adriana to scoop out the bug out the pool, and then maybe she did it, so Mom don't do.
This is the second time that he says maybe. Like, once again, he is guessing what might have happened to his sister.
What was she gonna scoop out bugs with?
Hands.
Her hands? Do you ever scoop out bugs?
Just had to do it by herself.
But you never did it before?
I can't do it with the net. I only do it with my hands.
Where is your net? I didn't see it today.
It was in the shed. Sometimes we keep our pools in the shed and the pool stuff. My mom was at home sleeping, and then when we got done from school, she picked us up at the car stop.
You know when? Was that today? What about yesterday? You said that something about some spray. What can you tell me about the spray?
She was spraying it until I woke up.
And then what happened?
When I went to follow smell, I smell it in the bedroom.
What did it look like?
It looked in a spray bottle. They spray stuff out of.
What color?
Blue. It was windy.
You said you was watching cartoons this morning, right? You and Adriana? What did your mama do when she got up?
Adriana was playing display on the TV until Mom got up.
Then what happened?
When Mom got up, Adriana was still playing display. And then Mama told her to go to the room.
Told who to go in the room?
Adriana.
Then what?
When Mama woke up again, she started to put Adriana, she told Adriana to skip out the bugs with the Mama. And then Mama went to check the mail. And then Adriana said she didn't want her to do it by herself. That's when Mama dumped her.
Tell me about that.
I couldn't see it because it was going to be dangerous to out the pool. And then she was purple, her lips were purple. And then brown water was coming out of her mouth. And then when I went back to sleep, I'm watching TV, she thought that I wasn't watching her. And I was watching her because I heard the cabinet open and shut. She slammed the cabinet door.
Who did?
Adriana.
Where was your mama at?
In the bedroom. In hers. Not Adriana, it was Mama.
Then what?
When Mama heard the spraying, she smelled something because she has a vent on the top of her door.
And what happened?
Mama started coming out.
During the interview, Brenda became upset and left the room.
Tell me what you mean when you say dump. Somebody dumped somebody.
Mama dumped my sister.
What does that mean?
Drowning.
Can you tell me how that happens?
When Adriana messaged with stuff. Today.
Today?
So,
Who was in the pool?
Adriana.
Did your mama get in the pool?
No. Adriana was just in the pool with Mama. But Adriana was laying like this and Mama holding him on her so she went scream.
I think his exact words were that his mother had dunked his sister, and at one point he placed his hand over his face in that manner and said that she had drowned her.
Why was she dunking her?
Because she messed with the spray and she played in the water.
She played in the water?
And then she started messing with Mama's stuff. Or saying that she washes her foot with and her hair spray and all her in a brush. And that's all that she messed with, that was Mama.
Did you see how Adriana got in the pool?
I couldn't because I was get dunked too.
You would?
So I was telling Mama, I told Mama what's going on back here. And then she told me that they are walking. So I was hiding behind the bench so I can look. And then Mama was looking at me. And then she pointed that way. Mama was. She was pointing to my toys that I was playing with, my tractors.
Why?
Because I was going to get in trouble.
For what?
I would get whipping, then I'll have to get grounded like my sister.
What did you do wrong?
Nothing. I've been good for the rest of the week until I got my toys, my tractors.
Where's your tractors at now?
At the house. In front of the tree that the garbage can is at.
Would you climb that tree today?
The tree that I was already in. It was a short tree. It was this big.
What was Adriana doing?
Screaming, and she kept on getting dunked. And then I got out the tree because Mama told me to go get Adriana, and then I found her dead in the pool, and I had to go get her.
Why'd you go get her?
So, because my mama told me to.
So that they could each take a shower to go school shopping.
Did you, I asked you this before, do you know how Adriana got in the pool? How?
And,
Do you know if that was after school or before school or?
when we wasn't in school, because it was spring break.
What did your mama do today?
She was sleeping, but when she got off of work, she was sleeping until Adrian started doing something that she didn't supposed to.
Did your mama do any work around the house? Did she do any cooking?
She only was sleeping,
Did she do any cleaning?
washing the dishes, and washing the clothes.
Did she eat anything?
She brings stuff out to work.
To eat? She takes stuff with her to work?
in a Wall State lunchbox. Time ago.
Well, when Adrian got dunked, when was that?
When y'all was there.
So she got dunked when we was there? Did she get dunked a long time ago? How many times did she get dunked?
Four times.
4 times? Do you know if that was...
There have been many different researches on how children are
When y'all was in
interviewed,
school, or
especially
was
if
it
the
during
interview
spring
is
break?
using suggestible language.
Was that yesterday or last week or today?
AJ keeps looking directly at his step-grandfather, who he calls Pa Chuck.
Did you see her getting dunked?
Because I was hiding in a tree, and then I saw an army man in a helicopter. And an army man helicopter. And then I started calling the police and the army man.
Who told you that Adriana got dunked?
Nobody. I saw her dead in the pool. I had to go get her so she can take a shower. And then Mom started.
He means that Amanda was looking out the sliding glass door. That is when she says she ran out to the pool and pulled her out.
The sliding glass door. The pool ain't where y'all park. The pool is a little bit close to the shed. Where y'all park.
How do you know that Adriana got dunked?
Because I heard her screaming.
What was she screaming?
Because she got dunked.
You know what she was saying?
She was screaming. And then when she got done dunking, she was dead. She had to go somewhere, but I didn't get to see it. But I did see Mama going somewhere. And then I said, she's coming back. And then Mama told me to go get our Michael. And then I told our Michael when he was in the shower that Adrian's dead. Mama told me to come get you. And that's the only time that Adrian got done.
The questioning just ensued in a way where almost all the child ever said was either yes or no. And if the child said don't know, they would be asked the question in a different way. When the interviewer followed it up with this direct option, are you going to pick option A or option B? He always picked one. He picked a choice.
He was old enough that we know children can remember, and we know that they can report, and we know that they can give a logical, coherent story from the beginning to the end. And instead, with the interview, what I was seeing was all these little questions, word from the child, whole bunch more questions, a word or two from the child. And honestly, you couldn't even really tell what he was talking about most of the time. You couldn't tell, was he talking about a different day or a different time? Like, there just was never a good narrative or a good story that he was allowed to present, which is just, to me, such a shame, because it's not a failure on the part of the child. It's not that the child couldn't remember. We don't know what he could have remembered, because he was simply never given the chance to do so, honestly.
Years of reviewing cases, this interview really is as bad as any that I've seen over the last 20 years. They just don't come any worse than that, really.
I fully believe that my son was coached into saying what he said.
Detective Rayleigh left the interview room to ask Brenda some questions separately about AJ's statements.
At the time, she was very upset, and she believed that Amanda had drowned Adriana.
Considering the number of people who tried to save Adriana's life, could medical intervention have caused the bruises to her forehead? Maybe, but it indicated to police that AJ's story could be true, that Amanda had pushed Adriana's head underwater and held it there.
The marks on her forehead look like a handprint.
If you want them to look like a handprint, any kind of object, any kind of a tined object could have caused that same pattern. There was a number of 200-pound men, from EMTs to the hospital crew. I mean, I think there was plenty of opportunity for someone to cause a defect on her forehead.
AJ's interview changed the investigation into what had been considered an accidental drowning into a possible murder. Now was the time to confront Amanda and ask for an explanation of those bruises.
Or do anything for her child. We asked her about the bruises, if she saw the bruises, and Amanda said, yeah, she had saw them, but she didn't know how they'd gotten there.
You know, it just don't look good. I talked to you about trying to explain the bruises, and we can't come up with a reasonable explanation as to why they're there.
I mean, I don't know why they're there. I mean, the only thing I can think of is either she hit the tablet container, or either she went completely to the bottom and hit her head, or she hit it on the wagon before she even went in the pool. That's the only explanations I have.
Okay. How would you feel about taking a polygraph?
I'd be fine with it.
Rayleigh decided the next step would be to have Child Protective Services interview AJ more professionally. Someone was lying, but who? He hadn't seen his mother since she pulled Adriana from the pool. It had been 4 hours since he arrived at the police station.
What you got? What is that? Sheriff badge. A sheriff badge.
AJ remembered the day's events differently. He did state in one version that his mother had dunked Adriana.
When Mama dunked Adriana until she dies.
But he also said that she fell in and his mother pulled her up. The very same version of events that Amanda had given.
Mama pulled her out, and then when she laid her on the grass, she opened her mouth, like dirty water was coming out of her mouth. And then
Who threw her in the pool?
my mama,
Mama threw who in the pool?
my sister, Adriana,
Okay. And then what happened when she threw her in the pool?
she started holding her face, so Adriana started screaming, so I went, pow, 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 with my gun.
Okay.
So Mama said, stop it! So I didn't stop it, so Adriana screamed, AJ, call the police!
You said your mom held her face? How did she hold her face? Yeah.
I went to go get Adriana, and I screamed, Mom, Adriana's dead in the pool, she's upside down.
Did you see her get dunked in the pool?
I could, because I would get in trouble.
You could, because you would get in trouble. Could you see the pool where you were?
I was at the garbage can tree.
By the end of the interview, AJ had given 13 different descriptions of how his sister had drowned. 2 days later, an autopsy was complete and showed more pronounced bruising. Was this from life-saving measures, or was she in a struggle? She also had a gash on the back of her head. The ME ruled her death a homicide and noted another injury as well.
There was a small tear on her vagina. The ME did a sexual assault kit. We submitted it.
At first, this was a very disturbing development. Was Adriana raped before being murdered? And could this be the cause of her on the side of the pool?
We did a search warrant on the house and processed the room and the boyfriend's son's room, and we could not find any signs of sexual assault in either one of those.
If somebody put Amanda in that pool, she probably struggled with them. Probably would have bruised them at some point in time. Mm-hmm. Would you mind lifting your shirt up for us to see if you got any bruises or scratches or anything?
That's been Mrs. Scott.
Let's see. Turn back around this way. You ever put your hands on her? Never made her go back in her room? Never wrestled with her or anything else?
I never wrestled with her.
No? Didn't make a mind?
I pick her up, put her in her room.
You would pick her up, okay.
I pick her up, put her on my shoulder like that. Put her in her room, and her mom said she had to be in there.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
How come you didn't want to tell us that you picked her up? How come you didn't want to tell us that you picked her up?
Well, I know you're probably thinking I did it because I came there the day before, and then she died, okay? I know that's weird, but I didn't do it. I had nothing to do with it.
But I don't think you did it. We're just trying to find out what went on.
I had no idea what went on.
I was just curious because sorry we said you have to touch her.
Well, I thought you were going to say something. Y'all were cops, man. What would you do?
What would we say?
You're supposed to be touching that little girl like that.
We live in a real world. My youngest fight all the time.
As investigators questioned people in Amanda's life, they discovered various reasons why she may have snapped.
Adriana, she had behavioral issues. Bless her heart. You know, she had ADD. She had stuff going on. I can imagine it could be trying, having a child that age, going through that. There was a difference between how she treated AJ and how she treated Adriana.
When Detective Rayleigh was asked if there is any special training when interviewing children, he said, "Well, I'm sure there is, but I never got any." So he was being interviewed like any witness would be interviewed?
Yes, ma'am.
The police officer who interviewed AJ admits he has no formal training. Yes. Is that a problem?
Yes, it is a problem.
How do you feel the police did when you watched that?
It was a highly insufficient interview.
Dr. Stephen Ceci, an expert in children's testimony, reviewed AJ's case. He says extra care is required to interview kids, especially AJ, whom he describes as developmentally delayed, similar in fact to a typical 4.5-year-old child.
It's not something that you can do by the seat of your pants, and I think that was evident in the law enforcement interview. They didn't structure it right, they didn't ask the right follow-up questions. I think they misunderstood some things he said.
In his Cornell lab, Ceci's experiments show that children can be manipulated over time into making outrageous and untrue statements.
We've had children say things about going up in the Eiffel Tower and releasing balloons. They really are convincing.
But Ceci says that when he repeated his story to a trained interviewer later that night, he could not have made up such a detailed story without help.
Adults have to have had access to him, and importantly, they have to have engaged in suggestive questioning. So if the adults were asking things like that, I'd be enormously concerned.
But who would do such a thing? Ceci says someone would have to coach AJ before he met with police. Amanda and her family believe that is exactly what happened, and their suspicion is on one man, Charles Burns, AJ's step-grandfather, who he called Pa Chuck. He arrived at the trailer just 30 minutes after the drowning, and he took AJ to his house and spent at least 15 minutes alone with him.
I asked him, did he remember that I told him to always tell the truth? He said, yes, Pa Chuck. And I said, I need to know what happened. And I said, you won't get in trouble for it. He just told me that, that his mother, he saw her drown, Adriana. There's no doubt in my mind that he told me the truth.
Chuck met me at the door and told me that AJ had told him that Amanda had done it.
Amanda's mother, Brenda, was married to Chuck at the time. They are now divorced. He admitted that he hated Amanda.
Someone coached him.
I didn't want nothing to do with her.
Chuck says he didn't like the way his stepdaughter treated her children.
She wasn't a good mother, period. She wasn't a good mother. They were hungry a lot. Let me be dark before they'd ever eat. She would just holler. Adriana been abusive to her, like jerking her or whatever. I hated her for what she was doing to the children because I knew it was nowhere normal.
I think he just wanted to hurt me.
But Chuck Burns insists, despite his hatred for Amanda, he did not coach AJ.
Absolutely not. I would not coerce him into saying anything or force him to say anything that wasn't the truth.
One incident in particular may have pushed even a patient mother over the edge. Adriana found a black Sharpie in the console of Amanda's car and wrote all throughout the inside of the car, including the word loser. Detective Rayleigh gets it wrong here.
Adriana had taken a Sharpie and had written the word DITCH on the hood of Amanda's car. Amanda came to work and was so mad about it that a coworker had to pull her to the side and tell her to calm down because all she could do was talk about I'm gonna kill her.
But Detective Rayleigh, this AJ story and the autopsy results were enough to convince him that Amanda had killed her daughter. He urged her to confess, but Amanda stuck with her story. She insisted she was innocent.
She told Amanda at one time, listen, I know you're working at night. We know Adriana's a handful. Maybe something happened. Maybe you snapped.
That morning, when the investigator offered me to take a polygraph, and he assured me that if I passed that polygraph, they would leave me alone. I told them, I'll do it.
And you got back results that said what?
I was telling the truth. That I, in fact, did not harm Adriana. I did not cause her any kind of trauma that day.
The fact that Amanda had passed a polygraph didn't convince the prosecutor.
I've known other guilty people that have passed polygraph exams, so I didn't put much stock or much weight in the fact that she passed.
Despite the polygraph results, investigators pressed on and uncovered a piece of Amanda's past that seemed especially disturbing.
Scene when the first things Amanda said was, I can't go through this again. Talking about a child that had died a few years before.
When Amanda was 16, she got pregnant with a baby boy who she named Alexander.
When he was born, we had no clue that anything was wrong. In the beginning, you would thought he was a healthy child.
One day, Amanda says that she put baby Alexander down for a nap and went to take a shower. When she came back, the baby wasn't breathing.
He was taken to the emergency room, and we were then told that he didn't make it.
Could the fact that her son Alexander died in her care been somehow used against her?
I think so. I think that was a lot of the reason why the investigation was pushed so hard.
Alexander's death 9 years before states on his autopsy that he died from hypoxia resulting from seizures. There was no criminal investigation or charges filed. Locally, people were quickly choosing sides, even wanting to prove that she had 2 children and asking police to exhume the baby's body.
They had decided that she was an evil person based on what they heard about her.
An Estill woman is in the Holmes County Jail tonight charged with killing her own daughter. At least one witness says they saw Lewis pushing the little girl underwater. Lewis has reportedly denied she killed her own child. She is due in court tomorrow morning for a bond hearing.
Police also found people who were critical of Amanda's skills as a parent.
There appeared not to be a lot of love in that house for Adriana.
Amanda may just not have been skilled to parent a demanding and difficult child.
I learned most of the things that I did do, like the timeout benches or other little tactics that I would do, I learned from the Super Nanny on television.
On September 5, 2007, almost exactly a month after Adriana's death, Amanda Lewis was arrested for her murder. The community of Estill was completely rattled. Neighbors were in shock to hear a mother could possibly do this to her child.
Justice needs to prevail on it, and she needs to be punished for what she done to her daughter.
With the state quickly building a case against Amanda, she had to defend herself. Public defender Walter Smith was assigned to her case. It seemed as though Amanda had been convicted by the public before her trial even began. Smith had to poke holes in the state's case. He started by addressing the autopsy. The prosecution's case was focused on the coroner's ruling that Adriana's death was a homicide. But they had a problem. Dr. Charles Siebert was under investigation for a series of botched autopsies. Was it possible that he made mistakes in this case too? Given all the attacks on his credibility, Walter Smith believed it was. Smith deposed him weeks before the trial. He wanted the doctor to explain 2 injuries shown in his report.
Our medical examiner opined that her face was held on the bottom of the pool, causing the injury to the back of the head. And when he was informed this is not a concrete pool, this is just a rubber inflatable pool, he really didn't have any explanation for that injury.
Smith didn't think the bruises on Adriana's face could have been made over the pool, especially since the bottom was too soft.
How would you have an object there to press against in order to get enough force to cause the bruising?
Yeah, I don't know if it's possible. It doesn't look like from this picture that you can actually reach the bottom of the pool. I don't know.
Smith was sure he had grounds for reasonable doubt. According to the state's case, the bruises on Adriana's face that supposedly was shaped as a handprint were a key element against Amanda. Dr. Siebert had just admitted that they most likely couldn't have happened in that type of pool. But then, just as Amanda Lewis's trial was just about to begin, Dr. Siebert left the state. Days before the trial was set to begin in Bonify, Florida, prosecutors offered Amanda a plea bargain.
It would not have been uncommon to try to reach a plea agreement in a case like this.
He came to me and said, would your client accept a plea to manslaughter and a 10-year sentence? And she just looked at me and said, are you crazy? Why would I plead guilty to something I didn't do? So I said, yeah, I agree with you. If you didn't do it, and I believe you didn't do it, then we have to have faith in the system that they're going to get the right answer. Once all the evidence is out, they're going to come up with the right answer.
The prosecutor's theory was built on the assumption that Amanda had snapped.
This was malicious punishment. This was child abuse that resulted in great bodily harm, that being death. I think she got up that day. She was tired. She was frustrated at Adriana's misbehavior that day. So she took her out there to the pool and she dunked her to discipline her. And it just went too far.
There were witnesses for the state who questioned Amanda's love for Adriana.
She said she never was able to develop that bond and that she just didn't love her like she should and she didn't know how to.
They said Adriana was constantly frustrating to Amanda and that she was a bad mother.
She came in and she was very upset, very irate, and we said, what's wrong, Amanda? She said, I'm just going to kill him, I'm going to kill her. And I was like, don't say that.
The prosecution presented Adriana's bruises as proof that she had been drowned intentionally.
The jury had an opportunity to see the portion of the video where AJ had demonstrated that to the law enforcement officers. In addition to that, they heard the testimony of Lisa Ruckman.
The coroner's secretary testified she placed her hand over the child's face and that the bruises were consistent with the handprint. She claimed to have no knowledge of what AJ had said to the police, but can we trust her given the fact that she had perjury convictions and she also had no medical training whatsoever?
And then either one of these 2 smaller bruises matched where my pinky would be.
You can even call it a bruise.
But Florida law doesn't require forensic witnesses to be medically certified. So Ruckman was allowed to testify. Ultimately, by the end of the trial, the most compelling testimony by far came from the sole eyewitness.
Hey, James. Hey, James.
Yes, sir.
Now at age 7, AJ hadn't seen his mother in 6 months. He became emotional on the stand when the prosecutor pointed her out. Many people feel that Amanda shouldn't have been allowed in the courtroom while AJ was testifying. However, it is our Sixth Amendment right that we are able to face and cross-examine our accusers. Luckily, these days with new technology such as Zoom, young children AJ's age can now testify from a different room in the courthouse and be questioned by the attorneys while the defendant watches from a screen in the trial room. Once AJ regained his composure, the DA asked him if he knew the difference between the truth and a lie.
Do you know the difference between a truth and a lie?
No, sir.
Okay.
While on the stand, AJ didn't remember most of the story he told the police, so Basford used a drawing he made 2 weeks before the trial.
My mama.
Okay. And what is she doing?
Hello, my sister.
How is she doing that, AJ?
Putting her hand over her face.
After showing a portion of AJ's original statement, the prosecution rested. The last thing the jury saw was AJ's hand over his face. Next, it was Smith's turn. He called Sarah Campbell from the child protection team who interviewed AJ the night of Adriana's death.
AJ responded, I couldn't because I'd get in trouble.
Okay, so he said he didn't see it because...
Campbell testified that in her opinion, it wasn't clear what AJ had seen. The key to Amanda's defense was AJ's credibility. Smith had to convince the jury that AJ's testimony changed depending on the circumstances. Amanda's appeal attorney, Phil Patterson, gives his opinion on the case.
Every time AJ was asked what happened, he gave a different answer. Every single time. It was ridiculous. I looked at that and I thought, if this kid's competent, then anybody's competent. You know, I mean, it was pathetic.
Smith still claims that he believes Amanda is innocent, but he barely cross-examined any of the state's witnesses, made any objections, and didn't call any real expert witnesses to help Amanda's case.
One piece of evidence that was never explained was the red wagon that was situated next to the pool that was full of water and had children's footprints in it.
But Smith barely explained their alternate theory of what happened that day.
Our explanation was she was standing in that wagon, scooping up bugs with the metal pie pan that was in the pool and fell head first.
And AJ said he tried to save Adriana when she fell in the water and started screaming.
When I asked him, what were you doing when your sister was screaming, his response was holding on to her legs. This is what he testified to in court.
Smith thought that he had brought some doubt to the prosecution's case.
I felt that reason and logic indicated that this was a case of accidental drowning. I may not like Amanda Lewis. I may think she's a bad mother, but the evidence persuades me that this is an accidental death.
One of the 6 jurors, James Locke, spoke publicly for the first time about the case. The case went to the jury after just 3 days of testimony.
I listened, and I listened very good to it, and I believed the boy. I really did. The prosecutor asked him what was that, and he said, that's my mother drowning my sister. Anybody could make that up for a 5-year-old child. I don't.
What about this whole distance with a handprint right there on the little girl's face? Do you remember that?
Yes.
What did you make of that?
You know, I really believe it's probably a hand from holding the little girl down. I really believe that.
Did you consider her version of the story that Adriana fell into the pool because she was standing on the red wagon?
No, I never believed that.
Still, for Locke, the most compelling evidence of Amanda's guilt was that she never seemed to panic.
Simple fact, she never said, I tried to tear the pool down. I tried to get in the pool. To me, anybody's child that drowns in the pool and you stand on the side and you don't tear that pool down and you don't get in there with that baby, there's something wrong with you. I'll never believe she tried to save the baby.
In the end, on February 22nd, 2008, it took this jury just 2 hours, including lunch, to reach a verdict and found her guilty of killing her daughter.
Guilty as charged of first-degree felonious murder.
She was sentenced to life in prison without parole plus 30 years for aggravated child abuse. For her father, Billy Hutto, it was a heartbreaking end. This is the one and only time he has spoken publicly about his daughter's case.
How could anybody sit on a jury stand and convict a girl to life in prison? There's not no evidence there.
He thinks that Amanda was convicted even before the trial began.
If she'd have been a big church goer, been some lawyer's wife, she'd have never served a day. They had that young and guilty from the time they started. You could look right there and see it in their eyes. Everybody was saying it.
But why? If the state's case was so flimsy, how could the jury reach a guilty verdict? Smith suggests it's easier to let yourself be swayed by emotion.
If it had not been for the revelations of A.J. Hutto, this would have been written off as an accidental drowning.
He was only 6 years old. He couldn't remember who all was there. He was a key witness in a trial that put me in prison for the rest of my life.
All right.
But still, Amanda doesn't blame her son. You said that you are not mad at AJ.
I'm mad at a child that is only 6 years old, does not understand what's going on, and I feel deep down in my soul and in my heart that he was, in fact, told what to say. He was always a very manipulative, vindictive type of person. Oh, he hated her. He didn't try to hide it. He didn't agree with the way she done things with her children.
Billy Hutto has his own questions about that relationship.
There was something Amanda told me that really what got a lot of this started right there, because he tried to come on to her.
What really happened that day between Chuck and AJ will probably never be known. And over the years, Brenda feels like she made a horrible mistake since at the time of the trial she was a witness for the prosecution.
Should have stopped. But, by the time I get home, he's already called the sheriff and told the sheriff, God knows what. How am I going to stop it? The ball had already been put into motion.
Now Brenda cries on the phone about you, and she seems to be like she feels very guilty.
The only thing I really care to hear is why. Why did she allow this to happen? Because she could have stopped it. But to me, there's never going to be a reason enough to satisfy me.
I fully believe 100% whenever he testified that he had been coached, because when all of this happened, AJ was in speech therapy. He had a stuttering problem and he couldn't pronounce his words correctly. But then whenever he got on the stand, he could speak, really well. I know there was a few months in between, but it just didn't seem right.
Amanda Lewis has made several attempts to change her guilty verdict, but so far all of her efforts have been unsuccessful. She is still in prison at the Lowell Correctional Institute in Ocala, Florida.
The things that I missed out on that I feel like every mother looks forward to, I can't get that back. I never thought that I was going to get them ever going to tell me that my baby was gone. That feeling, I would not wish that on my worst enemy. Time does not heal it. Time does not make it better. Time does not make it go away.
As far as AJ, he has not seen or talked to his mother since he waved goodbye to her in the courtroom that day. He has been adopted and is doing well, although he is maintaining his privacy. Now, age 24, he recently did an interview with the Daily Mail. He was adopted by a wonderful Christian couple who raised him as their own. He changed his name and has never spoken publicly after the trial. Until this year. 100% guilty, he said. I stand by every word I said. Thinking back, AJ told Daily Mail, I don't believe I was what they called coached or anything like that. I just told them what I saw word for word. He recently married his high school sweetheart and carried on his childhood obsession with fire trucks and became a firefighter himself. His wife knows his agonizing history, but his in-laws and colleagues are unaware of his tragic background. Judge Alan Register ruled AJ was a competent witness, despite his age and his inconsistencies on the stand. Supporters for Amanda say the child was led too much by the prosecution team, and he may also have been mistaken on what he thought he saw happen. The trial started 6 months after Adriana died, and AJ didn't recognize his mother, who was sitting directly in front of him. He says, "It was heartbreaking. You know, she's my mother. But there was also some relief that what we were going through at the time was finally coming to an end. It is court appointed that they cannot see each other, and that is how he wants to keep it. He has, however, monitored from a distance any developments in her case. He says my childhood with Amanda was almost a 360 difference, completely different than with his adoptive parents. When asked about his relationship with Adriana, he paused and said, "We were best friends." He also has a tattoo of her name over his heart. You can read the whole article online. Adriana would have turned 26 years old last month. Regardless of whether you think Amanda is innocent or guilty, Adriana Hutto's life was tragically cut too short.